Joined in the studio now by our final guests of the day. We're chatting to Claire and Alana, and we're chatting about the Gaming Potion Group. Good afternoon to you, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you for talking to us today. So we'll start with Claire. Tell us a little bit of the history about the Gaming Potion Group.
Well, it was set up by my late husband
Yes.
about 2 years ago. Steve, he was actually severely disabled himself.
Right.
But we have 4 children, and he was just very much aware of the amount of time that they spend on screens, on computers, PlayStations, tablets, and he just felt really that it's not healthy for children to spend so much time. So he'd always had an interest in games himself, particularly Warhammer.
Yes.
And it actually started off running a sort of Warhammer club at the local library at Blythe Bridge.
Yes.
And getting young people, sort of teenagers really,
Yes.
interested in that. And then it evolved onto other sort of card games, chess, board games.
Yes. As an alternative.
Yes, and they really, the children could sort of join in whichever game they were wanting to.
Yeah.
And then he moved it on into schools, so he ran an after-school club at Blythe Bridge High School.
Yes.
And at Paisley Catholic College as well.
Okay.
And that was more sort of different card games.
Yes.
And one of our sons is really interested in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I remember the Yu-Gi-Ohs.
So they had a table where there'd be Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
They were a massive thing, weren't they, a few years ago? I mean, I remember how much some of those were fetching on eBay, some of the rare cards.
Yeah.
It was frightening, wasn't it, the amount of money it was? So, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
Now, I think sort of video games, for me, it's something that's happened in my lifetime, because when I was around about sort of early teens, there was the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64, and those were the kind of games machines that were coming out as a computer, and the Atari was another games machine, and then it seemed as though it sort of died for a while. There was no real structure with any of the games, and then the sort of world of the PC picked up and up and up and up, and then gaming seemed to become more popular than ever.
Yeah, and I think it sort of was losing the face-to-face contact with other young people and other children, which was why Steve sort of was doing groups in schools, and he did a few as well in church halls. There was one at Blythe Bridge Church Hall.
Yes.
And then it sort of moved on to getting a bit more outdoorish as well. We were at Draycott Church Hall, which had a lovely garden.
Yes,
and some
very
of the
nice,
children started bringing their Nerf guns and having sort of organised games outdoors, running around with their Nerf guns and everything. So that's sort of how it's evolved.
Yeah.
With, how it's continuing to be run.
So what's your involvement, Alana? What do you do?
So last summer, Steve started coming to Greatwood Hall, which is where me and a couple of other volunteers run a teen youth club.
Yes.
So he started coming along and helping at those events every single Friday, and then also he began to run gaming potion sessions at the hall as well. So me and the chairperson now, Alex, started helping him out, but then sadly he unexpectedly passed away. So there was a bit of a kind of unknown what's going to happen to the club now.
And you're sort of carrying on, where he left off. So before you came involved with the gaming side of things, were you heavily into the computer games, the video games?
Yes. So your video games and your Xbox games, definitely.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of Nintendo as well, so, so a bit guilty with that.
But of course, everything's all right in moderation, isn't it?
Absolutely,
that's sort of the key.
So that's kind of what we're beginning to teach a bit more as well, is just raising awareness of what the different games are. So like Fortnite and things like that, people just let the kids play it and not realise what it's actually about.
And if you don't mind me asking, Alan, how old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh, so you're sort of at the different end of the gaming world than I was at, because I've sort of seen it start, and you're sort of at the current end of it, really.
So at the peak. Really,
so what do you do? Do you still do a little bit of gaming and then try and predominantly do other things? And which do you prefer?
Well, currently we're just kind of doing board games with the club. So we're literally just focusing on doing different board games, but we also run Nerf as well. So that's your foam darts and plastic guns kind of thing. Because we noticed that lots of kids have them, but they've got nowhere to play it that's safe besides the garden, and then they lose all the bullets, so it's not really very convenient. So having like a big hall is really really good for them. And then we set up the tables and do it quite retro style, really, well, in my opinion.
And are you finding, even as somebody as 20, are you finding that youngsters that come along don't know how to play if it's nothing to do with the video game? Are people losing those skills?
I mean, quite a lot of the time, especially with the Nerf, obviously because of the video games and things like that, they just pick it up and they know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
With the board games, we are there to help teach them how to play each different board game, because there's so many different board games. We've got like over 100 in our collection.
Oh, really? Crikey, that is a good collection.
There's a lot, and it's not even including Monopoly and chess. So there's so many board games. So yeah, definitely.
Okay, we'll play a track and we'll come back and we'll chat some more. We're talking to Claire and Alana today about the Gaming Potion Group. Now, Claire, tell us a little bit more about the fundraising side of things.
Well, most of the Gaming Potion events are free to the young people who go.
Yes.
And there's been sponsors and charities that have given money, but I decided I wanted to do something particularly in memory of my husband, Steve.
Sure.
And I had actually taken up jogging this February.
Really?
Just as a way of trying to keep fit, and I think it helps your mental health
Very
as
much
well,
so,
because once I start running, I have to concentrate on keeping going with the running.
Very much so, yeah.
It clears your mind.
Yeah,
and,
it moves you forward.
It does make you feel quite a bit better.
Yes.
So I started running in February, a couple of times a week, just from my front door. Little runs. I did used to run when I was a teenager, so it wasn't totally new to me. But I hadn't run for probably 35 years.
Wow.
So yes. So the first event I did was a Cheadle 4-mile run in July, which I just did to see if I could do it. And then I thought, well, I'll do something where I can try and collect sponsor money to give to Gaming Potion.
Sure.
My youngest son goes to St Thomas's Catholic School in Teen, and every September they do a 7-mile run.
Yes.
So I thought, well, I'll enter that, collect sponsorship, and hopefully raise a few £100 for Gaming Potion. So I trained for the event over the summer, and it happened, I think it was about the 15th of September.
Yes.
I hadn't run anywhere near 7 miles until that Sunday, but I was able to do it without stopping.
Congratulations.
Just over an hour. So I was quite impressed with myself, actually, because I hadn't
That's
been feeling...
That's a good time, really.
I hadn't been feeling as fit as I thought I should be.
They are the best times to run,
summer holidays.
The times I've gone to train that don't feel like it today, they're the best sessions.
Yeah. Well, I tend to do it first thing in the morning before breakfast. Seems to suit me.
Yes.
But so far I've managed to raise over £750 from sponsorship. Steve and myself, we used to go to a local whist club in Draycott.
Yes.
And the whist club gave me £100 towards Gaming Potion. So I was very grateful to them. But I know that everyone there sort of misses Steve. So I think it's their way of...
Important to keep things going in his name too.
Yes.
Now, the other thing that you could do with, of course, is some volunteers to get involved and help.
That's right, because with sort of the publicity and with my boys still being at school, they get their friends to come along to Gaming Potion.
Yes.
But obviously, with it being a youth group, there needs to be volunteer helpers and adult members to sort of run the club. So we're definitely, if anybody wanted to volunteer, then they would need to probably go on the website and get in contact with Alana and Alex about that.
And Alana, what is the website details?
So the website is gamingpotion.co.uk.
Okay.
And then literally everything that you need to know is on there. And we're quite quick at replying to emails and things like that. So if anyone does have a query, feel free to message us.
Now, you've got some events coming up, haven't you?
Yes, we do indeed. So just so I get my details totally correct.
We'll make sure our What's On guru gets these Joan in a minute, and we'll get these added to our website for you. But go for it.
So on the 20th of October, which is a Sunday, 1 till 5 p.m, we've got our Halloween Gaming Potion event.
Yes.
So this will include fancy dress and things like that, and there will be prizes too. But this won't be a Nerf event due to other events happening in the hall at the same time as us, but that's absolutely fine, because then in the November we have on the 24th of November 1 till 5 p.m, we have members of the local community coming in teaching young people how to play dominoes and Uno and really classic games, but then we'll also have Nerf on that session as well, so it should be really, really good fun. And then December, the 21st of December, which is a bit of a later session, so 5 till 7 p.m, we've got our Switch in the City night, so we've got city-based board games, so that it's going along with that theme, but then we'll also have a Nintendo Switch competition as well, and then that will be followed by our AGM.
Cool. So just give us a recap again on the website.
So that's www.gamingpotion.co.uk.
Have a look over there. We'll get them added to the What's Ons for you too, and we'll try and give you some promotion. Thank you very much for coming in today, ladies. It's been great talking to you, and I wish you all the very best, and I wish you every success with it.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.